Around 10,000 years ago, a lord by the name of Durran won the love of Eleni, daughter of the sea god and goddess of the winds. Enraged by a simple first man taking the goddess of winds as his wife, the sea god sent an unrivaled storm to destroy Durran, but only succeeded in killing his family and destroying his keep. Durran, determined to tame the gods themselves, built castle after castle, and eventually with the help of some legendary figures, he created a castle even the gods could not topple. This castle became known as Storm's End, seat of power in the Stormlands. Durran and his godwife went on to found House Durrandon, and Durran himself became the first of the Storm Kings, who ruled the Stormlands for thousands of years. During the Targaryen invasion of Westeros, Aegon the Conqueror sent his brother, Orys Baratheon, to claim the Stormlands. Orys killed the final Storm King, Argilac Durrandon, and took Argilac's daughter as his wife, becoming the new lord of the Stormlands, and renaming House Durrandon to House Baratheon, though he retained the crowned stag and the house words, "Ours is the Fury." 300 years later, a lone man has clawed his way to the title of Count and is now claiming to be the final descendant of House Durrandon, born of the line of Argilac's brother and thus a legitimate heir to the Stormlands. The Maesters and Septims have confirmed that the man's claim is legitimate, with the remaining male Durrandons stopping at nothing to ensure that their family and legitimacy is continued, with the hopes of reclaiming their home and words from the usurper Baratheons. Perhaps driven to madness after years of desperation, or perhaps truly blessed by the Storm God himself, the final Durrandon claims that the god's blood his family descends from runs strong in him, and that he is destined to unify the Stormlands in reveration of the gods of the Storm. Will he achieve the lofty heights of reclaiming the Stormlands for House Durrandon and the Storm God, or will the Lords of Westeros grow impatient with the rantings of a madman and then end them prematurely, just like last series, which we won't talk about. Now I'll talk about it during the episode, I'm sure. I can't have another. I hope he doesn't end prematurely, because my god, I can't handle another series dying off like that. Welcome back, everybody, to the Game of Thrones pod. I'm assuming I did a fancy intro as I normally do there. I have no idea. I haven't done it yet. Normally I do them first, but fingers crossed that's explained what's going on here. But I thought I'd explain very quickly what happened to the last series. So there are three main reasons why that series basically stopped where it did. Well, four, technically. Firstly, obviously, the series kind of killed itself, right? The AI managed to do the goal I set out for us to do, which was defeat the White Walkers. The Aztecs turned up and did that for us, which sort of killed it in its tracks. Secondly, there were a lot of issues and glitches associated with that as well, so things like White Walkers turning up in our court, things like Winter Wastelands becoming landed elsewhere. It was very strange towards the end, I think, probably because of the scenario we had going. Thirdly, it was an old version of the Game of Thrones one, which might be the cause for some of those other things as well. It was an old version of CK2 and an old version of Game of Thrones, which is an absolute pain in the ass when I have to keep switching installations and that type of thing. Fourth, it just keeps crashing, and I actually couldn't carry on with the campaign even if I wanted to, which I didn't anyway, because like I said, it sort of killed itself here. So we're going for something fresh and new. So I went back to the drawing board and I thought to myself, what is it people enjoyed about the last CK2 series? And we had some sort of like weird CK2 behind the scenes extended universe stuff in the form of Ashai and in the form of Gogasos. We've had new religion features, we've had strange religions as well. The more distantly related Game of Thrones things, and I thought, well, we haven't played in Westeros, and a lot of people during the last series wanted to see some of those old classic characters. So the current start date is 1 year before Robert Baratheon lost control of the throne, to avoid spoilers, even though I think, you know, let's be honest here, I think everybody's going to be up to date to that extent. This is 1 year before Robert Baratheon died, so all of your classic Season 1 characters still around, and all the current, obviously, series characters are still around as well. So fingers crossed we're going to see a lot of those. There's going to be a lot of political play. We can try and maneuver around, you know, the upcoming big wars and things like that, and plan ahead. The playthrough that we're going to go for are the Storm Kings of House Durrandon. So House Durrandon were the Storm Kings, the rulers of Storm's End, the Stormlands, this area essentially, what is House Baratheon now, before they took the throne. That was originally belonging to House Durrandon. Now, House Durrandon basically morphed into House Baratheon following Aegon's conquest. Aegon's brother married Lord Argilac, I don't remember how you say his name, Argilac I think it was. He killed him and married his daughter, and then sort of combined their houses. So he kept the name Baratheon, because his name was Orys Baratheon. He kept the name Baratheon and renamed the house to Baratheon, but he kept their sigil, which is the deer, and he also, or the stag, I should say, and he also kept their house words, ours is the Fury. However, House Durrandon is distinct, fairly different, and they have a very, very interesting origin as well. They descend from the Queen of Storms, essentially, which has some relation to the Storm King that the Drowned Gods is supposedly an enemy of, and the Drowned Priest talk of in the Iron Isles. So I thought that'd be kind of a fun little playthrough to do here as the final surviving member of House Durrandon. Storm Kings return. A young minor lord by the name of Gallad has claimed to be a descendant of House Durrandon, the ancient kings of the Stormlands, the same house which became House Baratheon following King Aegon's conquest. Though the septums and maesters assure the man's legitimacy, and that his lineage can be traced back 300 years to the final Storm King, Argilac Durrandon, I'm never going to get that right. Many believe it to be no more than a mistake and poor record keeping. Legally, however, the man is legitimate, though rumours have circulated of House Baratheon plots stirring against this new dynastic threat. Ours is the fury. House Baratheon is privately outraged but legally cannot threaten you because we are, according to the Maesters and the Septums, a lord. So the point of this playthrough and the ultimate goal is to try out some of the new mechanics they've added to the Game of Thrones mod. And one in particular piqued my interest because I thought it really fit in with the channel quite well. So I've added, and this is available for you to download on Steam right now. I thought I would get the mod out first before we got the series out, so that is available. Links in description. I've added a new religion. It does look similar to the currently existing Storm God religion, which is a heresy of the Drown God religion, but it's a whole new system just so those don't step on each other's toes, just so we can't go out raiding and things like that, because the other one is basically just Ironborn, but with a fresh coat of paint. This is a whole new religion based on that sort of deity. So the Stormlander variant of the closely related Storm God of the Iron Islands. Legend says that Durran Godsgrief took the daughter of the Sea God, the Goddess of the Wind, as his wife. Together they founded House Durrandon, Storm Kings of the Reach, and forged the great castle Storm's End. So supposedly, this original founder of House Durrandon, if we go to the bloodlines here, Durrandon, which I think is a band, basically almost like went to war against the Weather. It's very weird. And this is the Weather's daughter, by the way, Eleni. They got married, and she helped him sort of rebel against her father, I think is essentially the way it was, the Storm God. And of course, she is part of the Storm God as well. That's the old religion, the heresy. And like I said, we've got a new one here just so it is entirely mechanically separate. And this guy took her as his wife, so in theory, all of House Durrandon have the blood of the Storm Gods in them. Like actual divine blood, if that lore is accurate, which I'm assuming it is for this playthrough. So we have, in our bloodlines, obviously the bloodline of House Durrandon there, which I assume Robert Baratheon has as well, right? Or maybe they just have the bloodline of Orys Baratheon. Oh wow, they just have Orys Baratheon's bloodline. Interesting. Rumored bastard of King Aegon the Conqueror. Bastard brother of King Aegon the Conqueror, I was going to say. Slew the last king, Storm King, Argilac Durrandon, and took his sigil words and daughter for his own. So that they are completely separate bloodlines, which I think is quite cool. So we are the last, technically, surviving member, I guess. And then, of course, we got the blood of the Storm King there as well. Claims to have the blood of the Storm King running through their veins. That gives us the Ironborn haters, because obviously the Storm King in their religion is the devil, essentially, the Antichrist. Faith of the Seven, also not a big fan that we claim this divinity, this divine blood. And then we also get some months prestige. The Stormlanders like us, though, because traditionally, it was only 300 years ago, Aegon's conquest, roughly. So it's not as if it would be completely lost. You know, that's just a grandfather telling his grandchild, and that grandchild telling it to his grandchild. It's not many generations, 300 years, so that would still definitely be within memory. If not, it would at least be very common knowledge. So, not only that, I've also added the ability to allow this religion to be reformed as well. I've added a custom doctrine, which I'm not going to talk about. We'll see that. This is this one, which we'll talk about when we get there. But the Game of Thrones mod, the big feature of the current version of the Game of Thrones mod is the religious reformation. So things like the Rhoynar religion can be reformed. Things like the Old Gods religion, which they worship in the north, can be reformed. Like, everything can now be reformed, essentially. Besides, you know, like the Faith of the Seven and R'hllor, the sort of more major faiths. They've added some unique things as well. So, for example, we could say cutthroat for our religion, which allows us to be very ruthless and aggressive with our religion there. So, can mistreat prisoners, which is kind of funny. Rulers are more likely to start plots and factions, so it's going to be very difficult to manage, but you can kill whoever you want. It's basically kill or be killed. Now, the thing that really, really drew me to this playthrough of all things was, in the leadership, there is an option to become a God King. This is not something I've added, but it is absolutely something I would add, bearing in mind every single other playthrough we've ever done in Crusader Kings. So the ultimate goal should be, hopefully, quite self-evident. We have Lord Gallad, the last surviving member of the Storm Kings there, with the only member, to my knowledge right now, of the Storm King religion, who has the blood of the Storm God and everything. Good with words. That's part of his backstory. He's selfish. He's authoritative. He genuinely believes that he is the Storm God. It's up to us to actually make him into that Storm God with, hopefully, what is going to be that very, very cool, what was it called? God King worship doctrine there. So that will make us, the new head of the religion, be worshipped as a god. This will radicalize followers between supporters and opponents. So the Faith of the Seven are going to hate us for it, because we're claiming divinity. But our followers, if we can convince enough people to join our cause, are going to worship us as a god. I think this is going to be a very, very cool playthrough. I really love the sound of some of the things they've added to this as well. It sounds awesome. So, How the hell are we going to do this then? This is an incredibly difficult start. It's just occurred to me, outside of modding and outside of everything else, meta. This is a hard start. We've got good diplomacy, because like I said, this is a guy who needs to be good with words. He's selfish, he's proud, he's authoritative, because he genuinely does believe he is this god walking amongst men, you know, the final true Storm King. So, we need to embrace that. We need to go for proselytizing quite, I think, aggressively. And when we reform the religion, obviously, we can choose that as well. We can choose a more defensive-based religion that's great at proselytizing and very strong and ruthless in that regard, and try and, you know, convert the realm to the worship of Lord Galad and his descendants. Now, he's not a mortal or anything like that. He is just a man, but he does have that blood. I imagine it's been watered down after the past, you know, few hundred years. Bear in mind, his ancestor, Argilac, whatever his name was, very, very far back in this family tree somewhere. I don't think we can even go far back enough. I mean, he will be here somewhere, but it's going to take a very long time. You know, I'll find him just for posterity's sake here. My god, this is, we should probably go via grandparent, save a little bit of time here. Oh, you know what would be even quicker? Going like this. Alright, so there he is. Durran, Storm King, was born, according to this, 8,000 years ago. So it's a very, 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 very distant bloodline, obviously. Very, very distant relation, but I think it's, and obviously the house itself only went extinct 300 years ago, so if all of those bloodlines were true, then, you know, he is potentially a legitimate descendant there. Baldric Durrandon, our father, died in battle against the Iron King Harwin of the Iron Isles over 400 years ago. So I guess it's just a lost bloodline between then, you know, loads of minor lords, that type of thing. That's when they lost their power. This is going to be tricky, so let's actually get on with it and stop rambling on. But hopefully you guys like this idea as much as I do. And I think, you know, we've got our classic characters. We've got Mace the Ace there. We've got Renly Baratheon, Robert Baratheon on the throne. Got Tywin Lannister, so this is going to be a little more involved, I think, a little more Game of Thronesy to me, anyway. So I think first things first, we need to get people proselytizing in our name. They need to spread the good word that their king has returned. Proper Lion King style. Right, can we even... Oh my god, we don't have enough piety. Well, this is going to get tricky, huh? We convert to local religion. Nah, I'm good. We do have all the, obviously, the standard sort of options, the things we can do here. Hold a feast, hold a summer fair. How can we get a little bit more piety? So summer fair do offer you the opportunities to get piety, so I might actually go for that one. I think getting married, actually, first things first, so that we don't go completely extinct. We can intermarry with Faith of the Seven, because otherwise we would get game over unless we present a debutante, but we might want to, you know, marry someone who's highborn. Isla, Courtier in Weeping Town, is attractive, which might not be too bad. Do we have any genius characters? Is going to be my first question. So I'm not playing with the congenital traits mod because it is not compatible with this current version, and it is for very, very old, sort of decrepit mod at this stage. And I'm not playing with any building mods or anything like that. Keeping it very, very, very safe. You know, very, very sort of standard, non-crashing preferably, because I would love to finish a series at some stage. There are no genius women in this entire game. Wow, that seems a little backwards, huh? Come on, the year is 8298. We don't have any genius women. We'll marry Isla then. Island Lord. Oh, she's in our court. Isla Vulcan. Who is she? I have no idea, but we'll marry her because she has the attractive trait, and she's 14, which means we can marry her immediately. She is a Stormlander daughter of Elaine Vulcan. She must be a character from the show because Sir James of the Black Bog. What? I have no idea. Davos's vassal. Okay, fine. Understandable, really. Right, this is kind of cool. I'm into this. Long live his name. So there he is. King Robert is not a big fan of us, unsurprisingly. Minus 32 opinion. Curse his name. Curse that king, that false pretender. Some Storm King you are. Right, let's get our council set up basically as soon as possible. I don't really care who sits on it. It's better than nobody, obviously, right now. Our priest, though, is the only exception to that. So we do need to, I guess, what is it? Employ a new courtier and then go for a drowned man. It's not quite right, but I suppose if it was the Storm, that would be close enough. Look, Gallows Weep Town, we're going to get Carlton. Carlton the Stormlander, and there he is, Gods of the Storm. Now, we have 0 moral authority, so we've really got a lot to do here in terms of our realm. But even if we can just get the people of our town, of small Weeping Town here, to convert to our religion, I think that'll be a small victory. You know, just having your own vassals worshipping you as a god king, that seems pretty good. You are deep in thought as Master Benjicott suddenly interrupts you. My lord, as you know, both you and the lady desire an heir for the realm. If you wish, I could research ways to enhance your virility. Wow, you've been very sudden about that. Please go ahead, of course, my good friend. In the meantime, speaking of which, let's go for family focus. Seeing as we are the last surviving member of House Durrandon, it would be a little bit shit to immediately drop down dead, huh? And let's have a son. That should always be our goal, I think, to just straight off the bat here. Right, so you, my friend, Priest Carlton, proselytize in the name of your God King. maybe we're just insane. Actually, that's kind of a nice headcanon. Maybe he's just a complete madman who happens to just actually be a legitimate descendant, but it's a little bit crazy. You just got to convince everyone else to do craziness, you know? You've just got to be slightly less crazy than everyone else. Right, let's just set everything up. These bodyguards are going to be shit because obviously different religion. We're going to have to employ... the longer we play, the more people of our religion will appear, and obviously the safer the council will be, that type of thing. So let's just quickly see. Okay, that's fine. Auto-assign commanders, I'm fine with. Can't imagine we're going to be doing much war during this early game. Bear in mind, we've got a fair amount of troops. We've got 900 troops. I thought it'd be a lot less than that. We need to go to war against our fellow vassals and maybe get the Duchy of Cape Wrath here. So we do have, of course, our holy sites, and this is how we're going to reform the faith here. We have North Cracklaw. So I went on the wiki and looked up the extent of the Storm King's kingdom. Now, they did have a lot of land, all the way up to Harrenhal, all the way through the rivers and the Trident and stuff. But seeing as Storm's End was built to defeat the storms coming in from the narrow sea, it would make sense for all our holy sites are on that. At least that's the headcanon I'm going by. So if we take a look here, our holy sites are... If we click on our own province, there we go. So we've got a holy site in Weeping Town, we've got one in Storm's End, we've got one in Stone Dance, King's Landing, and North Cracklaw there. So I'm keeping them all within the narrow sea because that sort of makes sense for the storm. They are very, very close. Normally holy sites are obviously a lot more separate than that to make it harder to control all of those. But for us, this is going to be a really difficult playthrough anyway. So, you know, I thought we'd try and make it maybe not completely insurmountable. Anyway, let's see what we can do with societies. Can we even join any right now? The Citadel, we can join them. We need to be erudite, though. Okay, fine. Alchemist Guild, we can join if we're Mystic, Scholar, Metallurgist, Fire Obsessed, Lunatic, Erudite, etc. Free Folk, I don't think so. Dothraki, Old Way. Yeah, no, none of these we can join. We might be able to found a bank. How do you... Oh, you have to be like an independent merchant republic or something like that, right? It'd be kind of cool if we could get involved with something like that. A little bit of funds would help out a hell of a lot, considering that we're fairly low down. Oh my god, minus 200. Did she really take away that much prestige from us? Whoops. To the commanding wit, Gallard. Blessings upon you and your house. We've decided to offer you the position of commander. Do you accept? Of course we do. Let's try and get in good with our vassals here. And of course we are technically a vassal of Robert Baratheon, because we are part of the Stormlands. And then he is, of course, a vassal of his brother there, King Robert. So we've got Baratheons leering over us. I imagine, for the most part, a lot of people in the realm, our liege, for example, probably just thinks we're an idiot. Probably just thinks we're some stupid lunatic lord who's going to die soon and maybe not leave behind much of a legacy. But I kind of want to prove him wrong. Maester Benjicott approaches you with a smile on his face. My lord, if you drink this concoction, your potency will be magnified tenfold. Of course, a little blue drink, not like the one you get in the dentist. I assume it helps out with other things besides freshness of breath. Ah, where is my lady? He says to a 14-year-old girl. Oh, that's not a great start to the effort. Oh, oof. Owie, my monetization. Who shall educate her? We'll educate her. We're a good educator. Plus, if we educate her well, she'll be happy about that. Oh, God, they're both selfish. Is that like Blood of the Storm King minus 25? Because she is Faith of the Seven, so she thinks we're a fucking loser who's, you know, going against all of the traditional Westerosi beliefs here, at least for the past few hundred years, huh? 1,000 years, in hindsight, and also thousands of years. My lord, despite my best efforts to try and improve your wrongly tarnished reputation, I've made it even worse. General opinion minus 10. Well, this is an absolutely flying start for us and our new house. She's pregnant, though. This is good. I like her haircut. She's pregnant already. Let's try and make sure... I'm not going to do anything risky. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Right now, we need to ensure that we get an heir to House Durrandon before we do anything particularly nuts. Better make a move quickly. Yeah, why the hell not? I don't think it'll help out too much. I think that ship has sailed, my friend. He died. Who is it now? So House Estamont are actually quite a prominent house oh, not really a prominent house, but they do feature in the books. I've been spending some time with my wife Isla lately, and though of course we did not marry for love, I can tell it's growing between us. Marital bliss. He wants to make us his justiciar, which isn't much of a surprise considering we've got 18 diplomacy. We're obviously going to accept that. That's going to give us a little bit more of legitimacy to what we say and how we say things and you know, the way that we can conduct ourselves here. Fear is the mind killer. She actually got brave. God damn it, we don't even have brave. Well, I think we should probably have brave, bearing in mind everything that's going on right now. Let's have some maids dispatch for 10 gold. Oh, Lord John Umber demanded a trial by combat from his captor, Lord Paramount Eddard Stark, selecting John Umber as his champion. Wait, what? Oh, so he fought the duel for himself. Got it. John slayed his opponent Syrio Forel, proving John Umber's innocence. Why did Syrio... Wait, what? Oh, because Ned will be at King's Landing right now, yeah? Handed the king to the Iron Throne. So John Umber did something disgraceful in King's Landing, demanded a trial by combat, and Syrio Forel got... How did Syrio Forel lose to John Umber? I mean, they are pretty strong, huh? Oh, shit, he's got 110 personal combat. I'll take that back. They are quite big boys. Okay, that's good to know. Why don't we mark some characters? My liege died again of natural death. It's not my fault, I promise. Why don't we mark some important series characters as special interest so that we can keep up with the realm and be a bit more involved in the world? Now, what we're expecting, and the thing I'm sort of banking on here, Durran looks very different to what I remember. What we're expecting here is something like Robert Baratheon to die and the War of the Five Kings to kick off. That would be fantastic for us. If any usurper, any sort of event like that fired, that would be fantastic. I don't know how much the game guides things like that, so I don't know if Eddard, when Robert dies, will be like, hey, you know, like in the shows, like, hey, Joffrey, maybe not legitimate, and then everything will kick off from there. So Daenerys is in Bravos, I believe, at this stage, very, very young. In fact, where the hell is she? No, she's in Pentos? No, she's somewhere. Anyway, doesn't matter too much. You know what, we can find it quite easy. If we go to Dragonstone. Oh, Stannis the Manus. Of course, we got Mark Yu's special interest. Let's go Aerys the Mad. And then Daenerys Stormborn is in... Oh, she's already married to Khal Drogo. Okay, let's mark her as special interest because I feel like she is going to have a major effect on everything. And I assume Jon Snow is up at the wall right now. So that is Jor the Old Bear. Is it not like his Jor Mormont? Let's see who I can find. Edison, there is Dolorous Ed. Aemon Targaryen. Jon Stark? Oh, he's just called... Okay, so he's not actually referred to as Snow in this. Very strange. Okay. I mean, he is... John, inverted commas, Snow there, but he is a member of House Stark, I think is what that's supposed to represent. And there it does say Bastard as well, so we'll trust that one. Our liege has invited us to a wedding, and of course we're going to take that because nothing ever goes wrong at weddings in the Game of Thrones world, so we will travel. I'm sure this crazy lunatic zealot lord, who is of course your vassal, will definitely won't get assassinated. Sorry, well, us. I'm talking about us. A son called Balon. An attractive son called... Oh, Balon. Never lived. God damn it. Okay. Instead of Balon then, we're going to have to call you something like Phalon. Good lord, I was kind of hoping we get to keep that guy, because that was the whole reason we married, her was for her attractive trait, to pass it on, to increase our diplomacy, to make us, you know, more likable to the common folk, maybe convince the ladies of the realm that actually we are a god in a man's flesh, which seems a little bit crazy in hindsight. Paramount Hoster Tully has formed an alliance with Lord Paramount Eddard Stark there. Interest, so that is, he actually... I don't think we ever saw him alive in the show. That's Hoster Tully is Catelyn Tully / Stark's father. We see him dead on a boat, which is what her brother shoots at missing, and the Blackfish has to come and set him straight. So I don't think we ever actually see him in the show. You know what? I think we survived this wedding. Feast is winding down, and now we're in the bedding remains. Alan and Shira are stripped of all of their garments by the revelers, who make many a bawdy joke along the way. Hoo-hoo, and no one's died. Prince Doran has inherited... You know what? I don't care about Doran of Dorne. He was such a minor character. We won't bother with that guy so much. He was in it for 2 episodes. Lord Aemon's wedding is over, and it's time to begin the long way home. After the music, the entertainment is live. And obviously, the House Martell in the books are a lot more scheming. They really don't like... House Lannister and the usurper because Doran's daughter was married to Rhaegar Targaryen. So Gregor Clegane, under the orders of Tywin Lannister, killed her and killed her children. It's not quite what he says, but you know, gotta worry about monetization. Sorry, was that the name that he gave himself there? Hang on. Eddard Stark attempts to imprison Jon Umber because apparently he's super guilty of something. Hoster Tully is now known as the Old Hoster Tully. What a great name. Balon Greyjoy has added foam drinker. Balon, I'm not sure I care. He's got another boat. Great. Honestly, you're not important either. You're just like such a minor character. No one cares about you. News from Winterfell by trial of combat. Lord Jon Umber demanded a trial by combat, selecting Jon Umber as his champion. He slayed Master Roderick. No. Roderick Castle is gone. Here's a fun fact. Master Roderick, guy with the sideburns in the show, he ties them together during later season. I think he's beheaded by Theon badly. He is the real-life father of Podrick. Roderick and Podrick. Your incompetent treasurer has let a group of smugglers into Weeping Town as if we needed any more difficulty. Thank you for that one. This is going to be... Wait, what? Oh, Armory Lock has been beheaded on the orders of King Robert. Well done. I think we'll keep these turned on, because Amory Lorch, I should say. That's a fairly important one. That's a fairly important character. We won't talk about it too much. Stannis Baratheon, the Hotspur of Dragonstone, hasn't converted, interestingly, yet to R'hllor. He's also got a son, Stephen Baratheon. The timeline has already diverged. And Eddard has got Moat Cailin back, which is a military command, so we'll just give that straight back out again. Robert Baratheon had Engines of War, which I hope is a book and not an actual physical thing here. It is a book. Thank God for that, Jesus. Inherited the High Lordship of Rosby. I may even... I would like to keep up with a lot of these characters. Oh, God. Robert is definitely gonna die soon. Cancer, drunkard, which I believe is, what, -1 health? Depressed, -1 health. What about gluttonous? Actually doesn't change his health. Fabulous feast, he's got successful treatment. Yeah, I don't think he's along for the world, even if he isn't truly assassinated here. And there's Edric Storm as well. So we're just setting the scene, you know, for this first episode. I think it's going to be the main part. We can't really act particularly strong, you know. We can't really do much against our liege. We can act against our fellow vassals, though. So why don't we take a look around and see if anybody is weaker than us? We may want to take something like the business focus, start earning enough money to hire some mercenaries to help push some claims within the realm. So Rathrock has 943, remember, obviously it's a straight crossing, so I'd rather... I think Mistwood would be the first good one to grab here. So why don't we sack our Justicia, who's terrible, in favor of literally anyone else. Let's set up the council first. We need to get a plan in action here. So let's take... The interface is not looking quite healthy there, huh? Let's employ a new courtier. Let's go for a Justicia, and I hope that he's got some skill. He's okay, and more to the point, he's a member of our religion, so he is definitely an upgrade, even though, well, I mean, statistically he's an upgrade. Even if he wasn't statistically an upgrade, I'd still like to keep him on the council, because obviously he's a member of our religion. Fabricate claims, 4.5% yearly on Mistwood. We need to start slow. It's going to take a long time to get this ball rolling, but my god, when we get there, this is going to be pretty fun. King Mance Raider tried invading. Well, Mance Raider tried raiding, and he's now Mance Not Raider, because he's now imprisoned by Jaw... Wow, Lord Commander Jaw. So the wildlings are already trying to get over the wall. Everything's happening so goddamn fast. Faith Militant restored. Robert, you madman. So the Faith Militant are the armed holy order of the High Septum. As I've said, I've used this analogy many times before. They're the Swiss Guard, essentially, to the Pope. This is what Cersei did in season 6. I don't remember. You know, under the High Sparrow, though, but these guys are under the High Septum, which in turn is under the Crown, so these are a little more easy for Robert Baratheon to control. Hope they're not coming for me. We are a religious enemy, so that would not be ideal. I wonder if they could just straight revoke our titles as well. Let's hope religious revocation isn't turned on either, because that could really suck. You know, that could be like... Oh! I wasn't expecting that. Man, this is a first episode, huh? King Aegon of Aegon's Host has declared King Aegon of Aegon's Host war on the Iron Throne of King Robert of the Iron Throne. This is something that happens in the books, but not in the show. So in the books, Rhaegar Targaryen's firstborn son, Aegon, was smuggled out of King's Landing by Varys and the Lord of Pentos, who Illyrio Mopatis and Varys arranged for him to be smuggled out and swapped with another baby, allegedly. This kid then grew up into Aegon Targaryen with backing from the Golden Company, which is Harry Strickland. You saw him in the show a couple of episodes ago, or last episode if you've been watching it. The Golden Company were formed by a Blackfire, I believe, or was it Blackfire, or was it... Anyway, they're a Targaryen sub-dynasty for the sole purpose of putting a Targaryen on the Iron Throne, or a Blackfire on the Iron Throne. Or what were they? Was it House Bittersteel or something like that? It doesn't matter too much. More to the point, he's now turned up with the backing of the Golden Company to try and conquer Westeros. There, it says there, a young silver-haired man has landed in Westeros, claiming to be Aegon the Sixth, true-born son of Rhaegar Targaryen and rightful king of the Seven Kingdoms. He is believed to have perished at the hands of Gregor Clegane, along with his sister Rhaenys and mother Elia of Dawn. It's purported he was not Aegon who perished there, but a peasant baby was put in his place. Long live the true king. I think we want to say that because Robert Baratheon is out for our blood. So I think we should back this guy. I'm not going to back him in terms of war. I'm not going to help him out. But if he wants to overthrow Robert Baratheon, I won't be too sad. He won't be able to. I'm going to be honest. There's not a goddamn chance in hell. Because Robert Baratheon, funnily enough, actually has quite a unified realm. So one of the mechanics, for those of you who don't know how the Westeros works, is that when war is declared, all of the rulers of the Seven Kingdoms break off and come in as allies. So they have full control of their own troops, but it gives you, if you're a High Lord, the ability to break away from Robert Baratheon or declare your own rebellion, which has happened many, many times during sort of Westeros' history, just like essentially what the Greyjoys did, even though that was a few years after, obviously, Robert was crowned. That's more or less what they did. They used the sort of realms fracturing to try and gain independence. So that's something you would have the option to do. If we were the paramount Lord of the Stormlands, we could say, hey, Robert, GTFO, we're now in charge and try and declare independence simultaneously. There's an option. It's like, now it's our time to break free, and you can actually try and do that. But they are still under the Iron Throne, and when the war ends, they'll obviously become his vassal again, but they have most likely joined as an ally here. I do want to check the war and see who is on what side here. Yeah. It's King Aegon of Aegon's Host, and then Lord Alyn of the Paps has decided to join him as well. Some random lowborn lord who's most likely going to get absolutely smashed and his titles revoked. He's got 10,000 men, which isn't too bad, but Robert Baratheon, by comparison, though, has 36,000 men, and they're just his personal troops from the Crownlands and Dawn. The Reach is going to come in with another 30,000 men. The Westerlands are going to come up with another 30,000 men, and it's obviously this boy is not going to stand a chance. So, good luck. New Lord Commander. Who would it be? Dennis Mallister. That seems not right at all. Oh, God. Wait. Oh, Tudbury Peasant Revolt. I thought that the guy that had revolted was around near us. I wonder where he actually is. Either way, it's his funeral. So this guy is not part of the war, as you can see. So he's decided to remain neutral because he is apparently a worshipper of R'hllor. So he doesn't care about this war. That's nothing to do with him. If it fails, it fails. And a lot of people actually up in the... we had some weird sort of divisions among the realm. So the Eyrie haven't backed him. The Vale, they are not part of that civil war yet. Some of his vassals have backed the king, which is what they should do. And I believe Robert Baratheon is not going to like the Vale too much. Oh shit, we're a commander, aren't we? Well, we are now leading troops somewhere. Fire sword removed from their treasury. Why? Oh, because he's not R'hllor. I don't know why he's got a fire sword anyway. We'll ignore that. Aegon of Essos. What was that war? Like 5 seconds? Good job, my dude. At least you tried. Aegon of Essos has accepted King Robert of the Iron Throne's peace offer. Right, I'm going to start unticking some people, otherwise we're going to get too much mired in everybody else's politics and not our own. So I don't really care about Lord Paramount Robin, Aaron, and that's sweet Robin, the young boy who is still like breastfeeding with his mother at the age of whatever in the show. Create the Lordship of the Fingers. Anyway, we'll leave him to it. We only care about the major characters like Ned and Robb and Tywin Lannister and those type. I don't really care about anyone else. It is as if I see Isla for the first time. Her good-natured spirit, interesting and funny quirks. Could it be that I love my Isla? Embrace the love I feel for Isla. And apparently, there's a new feature in CK2, which people told me about in Discord. When a character loves you, they get this weird, like, purple mist, for lack of a better word, pink mist on their picture to show that they are your lover. I assume this is something added by the new patch of Holy Fury, because I don't recognize it from my previous time playing that. I will have some maids dispatched, of course. This is going to be our first son and heir of the realm, because we could be assassinated right now, and that could be the end of us. Oh. Yes, we could. Elaine? Why not man Durrandon? Oh, for the love of God. Okay. I don't really know Stormlander names. What type of storms are there? Heavy Storm. Destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. Perfect. Heavy Durrandon. Oh, in hindsight, that was not very, that was not a very kind thing to call her. Oh well, she's gonna have a lot of issues. She's gonna be bullied just relentlessly for being called Heavy Durrandon. Thrift for you. I don't really care about your education. Just chuck her up to anybody here. Who looks trustworthy. Our Maester. Our Maester can educate her. That's basically his job anyway, right? Speaking of which, he's already doing it. Good. All right. I'd like you overseeing the realm. I'd like you still fabricating claims. I'd like you collecting taxes. I mean, there's not much chance. Oh, let's get our wife doing it because she actually loves us. She's not very good, but it's better than nothing. Who's backing this plot? Get out of here. Stop backing plot. Well, let's also stop plots as well. See if he'll actually... hey, we know about it. Stop trying to murder us. Please? Oh, shit. This is horrible. What the hell am I supposed to do against this? Why do you... Blood of the Storm King, foreign religion. Yeah, okay. Okay, hang on, though. Okay, we need to be swaying and antagonizing. That's my mistake. Let's try and sway our lord there. Can also steal his Lives of 4 Kings. Wonder if there are any storm artifacts or anything like that, like artifacts of House Durrandon. I'll have to take a look at that and see what we can find. Ah, good. I've collected ample tax. 8 gold. Thank you. I'll put that along with my other 40 gold. We're looking good. We're almost at the time where we can get some mercenaries, huh? So what I actually want to do is, as soon as possible, flip over to business focus. Like I said, for the pure ability to hire mercenaries, that's what's going to be fighting a lot of our wars, and I have no idea how the hell we're going to make money besides that, because like I said, we're not playing with any building mods or anything like that, because they're a little bit unbalanced. And, oh, we set the title of... Oh, Gregor lost his land. So House Clegane were landed by House Lannister after Gregor and Sandor's father saved Tytos Lannister, I believe it was, or Tywin, I don't remember, from a pack of wolves using his dogs, which is why their dogs... They were basically the dog keepers of House Lannister, and then he got landed because they saved his life, so... I guess he's lost his land now. Well, goodbye, House Clegane. You're now just some random lowborn again. Isla. Isla, as in, Isla kill you if you don't give me a son, for the love of God. Perhaps it's time I asked Lord Aemon to spend... Lord Aemon? He's got like a Valyrian name? Stormlanders, again, do sort of have that Valyrian influence where House Baratheon has ruled over them for 300 years, and House Baratheon was Valyrian. Oris Baratheon was a Valyrian man. He was obviously supposedly the bastard brother of Aegon the Conqueror. And Baratheon is, Oris and Baratheon are both obviously Valyrian names. So maybe they've had some influence there. I have no idea why otherwise. Unless he's like descended from a Targaryen somehow. I don't know. I will ask him. Hey, we can finally talk in private. It was an honor to have you here for a while. Deceitful trait, though, gives plus 20. Ooh, that might actually stop the murder plot dead in its tracks. It has not. He's still up for murdering us, but he kind of likes us a little bit now, though. You monster. You absolute monster. What other types of storms are there? Storm. I'm trying to think of anything to do with storm. I haven't got any sort of naming scheme this time around. What, just bad weather, huh? What about tsunami? I'd say that's pretty bad weather if you've got... Oh, it's goddamn tsunami outside. I'm going to have to pack my coat now. What terrible weather. It's a full-on tsunami again. Anyway, Tsunami Durrandon. That also sounds like it could be a godly name, right? Anyway, let's leave it there. I'm going to let a little bit of time tick so that we can actually get on to our next event here. I'll heavily edit the next few episodes because obviously it's going to be a very, very slow start. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys like this idea, and I hope it's a lot better to see some familiar faces in a bit more of a friendly territory, rather than, you know, Winter Wastelands moving into our capital and fucking everything up. Anyway, hope you guys like the idea, as I said, and let's give a shout out to those who made this whole thing possible in the first place. That's right. It's the patrons. You probably could guess that by now, though, if you've watched any of the other series. A big shout-out to Justin Wallace, Harik, Alpha Scuff, Asuna Kirito, Atmosis, Average Gamer 419, Baniel, Sidini, Conspire T, Crazy Pat, Crosis, Escape, Facundo Vasquez, Haydog, Jimbo, Jocelyn Dean Tesla, Michael Mullen, Necrophilin, Palvis Presley, Sean Thornton, Smirtworm, Tom Terror 18, Vacuous Backers, Wolf Sentence, Azzy7011 for the support the Insane Tier levels on Patreon. Thank you for making this whole thing possible. We are like $10 off of the goal for me to open a P.O. box. So if you're interested, go check that out, and we can see what random crap people send me. I'm going to make videos out of the stuff people send me as well, so you will get some more content out of it over on the second channel, so maybe that's something you want to check out. And a big shout as well to Gray, Nathaniel Lundberg, Llewellyn Thomas, Atero, Betimus Max, Chris, David Van Diepen, Don, Honey217, Gabriel Van Ders, Gaz, Genji Zerka, Haji Dumar, Hancock, Harry McGowan, Icy the Great, Jay Lara, James Barnes, Euron DeVries, John Holiday, Jordan Campbell, Joseph Beard, Justin Plott, Nathan Flores, Matthew, Nick, Panther Pearl, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, Sir Thor the Swede, Shari, Wolfie, Zico, Adam Person, Sidini, Fraser Brennan, Noah Gallimore, and the Insane Pickle 2. Thank you for all of your support over on Patreon as well.